Welcome to my kitchen. In my house, like many houses, I suspect the kitchen is the heart and the hub of the home, the place where domesticity comes to life. Perhaps a place where we learn about faith as we share meals, eat together, pray together, talk to each other, challenge each other, laugh with each other, and affirm each other and feed each other. But today I don't want to talk to you about domestic theology, but public theology. The notion that our faith and mission and evangelism shouldn't be domesticated, just kept in the house, whether it's our home or whether it's in our church buildings or even in our fresh expressions and new congregations. As the Church of England, I would like to suggest that we have a bigger role to play than that. We need to be talking about theology in the public square, not just as an academic discipline in its own right, but as an exercise in mission or evangelism. And I think for the Church of England that this is especially important. We are, in fact, as we know, the established church, a national church. That comes with great problems, perhaps, but also huge and significant opportunities. It allows us to talk in a very public way about the issues that affect people, ordinary people, real people in their daily lives. It allows us to talk into the great moral and ethical debates of our time. This week, for instance, the Archbishop of Canterbury and other bishops argued that the government was wrong to cut foreign aid based on Christian principles. You may or have your own view about that, but it was a demonstration of public theology. What is this public theology? Well, perhaps it can be defined as Christian engagement by the church with the issues that affect society, and it seeks to promote the common good and the welfare of all. James Smith, in Reforming Public Theology, writes, "A Christian account of our shared social, economic and political might properly be described as a public theology, an account of how, in common with our neighbours, who don't necessarily believe what we believe, don't necessarily love what we love, and don't necessarily hope for what we want." He further goes on, "There is no politics that isn't ultimately religious. Religion is about religaturing, bringing people into relationship." The basis of our public discourse and public theology must surely be found in our creation narrative, 1 Genesis, or Genesis 1 even, where the ultimate worth of each and every human being is described by God when he says, "And he created humans, and it was very good." Throughout the ages, archbishops of Canterbury have engaged with public theology, seeking to influence government. And of course, in medieval times, they were very much part of the whole infrastructure that supported the monarchy and defined those types of relationships between monarch and subject. But in the 20th and 21st centuries, we've really seen public theology come to the fore once more. Think of William Temple. Think of him in his 1928 lectures, coining the term the welfare state. Think of Archbishop Justin when he led the campaign against payday lenders. Think of the Bishop of St Albans leading the debates in the House of Lords against fixed rate betting. Or think of the bishops back in 2016 when they wrote a publication, "Who is my neighbour?" before the election, to try and prompt a Christian way of thinking about how we might engage and vote. Archbishop Rowan Williams was extremely interested in public theology, writing a book called Faith in the Public Square. public theology is extremely important. It allows us to address issues that affect us all, and especially those who are marginalised or effectively disenfranchised. Quick plug for my own book, Theonomics. Send me an email. I'll give you a copy. Public theology is just so important. It allows us to talk into the public square and to declare that each and every person is important. I wonder if public theology is something that should be left to the bishops. And of course, they have a huge role in promoting public theology through their place in the House of Lords. But what does your church do in the public square? How does it engage? Has it run any campaigns? We are in the middle of provoking a discussion, and I mean provoking, with the TSB, who want to close our branch. It's the only bank in our small market town. We live in an area where people still live in data poverty or have data poverty. And I believe profoundly that access to basic financial services is going to be so important if we're going to recover socio-economically from the coronavirus. For me, it's an issue of justice. And it's been an issue that's allowed us to engage beyond the church as we've led a campaign. We've offered to host a pop-up bank or a mobile bank in the church. We've engaged not the Prime Minister, we've engaged our Member of Parliament, and we've engaged our diocesan bishop, who has written on our behalf to the Minister of State responsible. TSB was set up by a vicar, or the first trustee bank was, to serve the poor and to build community. So this is about redemption of their values in many ways. And people in the town have been surprised by the leadership position that we have taken. But I'm proud that we have taken it as an exercise in public theology. Are there issues in your communities that you could talk to in the public square? Can you use your influence as the established church to make a difference for the common good? And if so, how would you do that? And how does issues of public theology, or the exercise of public theology, relate to the 5 marks of mission? So just a little chat on public theology, a passion of mine. I hope that you have some fruitful conversations. Bye-bye.